Namaste. I am David Maharaja and I would like to welcome you all to my YouTube channel called Brahma Gaje, a channel that is dedicated to philosophical discourse. Please do not forget to click on that like button and also that subscribe button. This is the second episode of a total 5 episodes series that I'm doing on Jada Bharat Doctrine from the Panchma Skhandha of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Mahapurana. In the first episode, we learned about the 9th avatar of Bhagavan Shri Vishnu, Rishabdev, also the first Tirthankar and the founder of Jain Sampradaya. In this episode, we will focus on Maharaja Bharat, his eldest son. Let's get started, shall we? So as we saw in the last episode, Rishabdev founded the Jain Sampradaya, became the first Tirthankar of Jain Sampradaya, and provided a meaningful lesson to his sons, especially Maharaja Bharat, on how to rule justly and properly and how to be detached while ruling from the worldly affairs, and also gave a wonderful path to the people, the path of nirvana, moksha, through detachment, through simple yet joyful living, and gave this philosophy as the first Tirthankar of Jain Sampradaya. And eventually, he decided to depart from this earth and became one with the nature. One day he was meditating in the forest, and the forest just caught a natural fire, and he decided to join that and eventually let go his body with it. Because at that time, he had become completely detached from his body. He had become Digambar, meaning he was not even wearing any clothes. He was completely detached from the worldly affairs and had totally devoted himself to the act of meditation. And therefore, this body is meaningless. Eventually, it is something that perishes, something that decays. Realizing that, he let go this body with the fire in the forest and became one with nature. Again, we always think about that this is my body and we take care of this body. This is my wonderful body that I need to take care of. Yes, that is all well and good. But if you become attached to that body, that attachment eventually will lead to pain and suffering. But if you learn to slowly detach, as Bhagavan Rishabdev taught us, the pain and the suffering will not touch you anymore because you have lifted yourself above this body. It is a very hard thing to do, but with daily practice, concentration on this thought, you can achieve what Rishabdev achieved. And again, that's how he showed the path of nirvana as the first Tirthankar of the Jain Sampradaya. Here, Maharaja Bharat is ruling the earth. Rishabdev finally departs. Maharaja Bharat is a very just king. His father, the avatar of Bhagavan Shri Vishnu, 9th avatar of Bhagavan Shri Vishnu, Rishabdev had taught him well. And again, as we learned in the last episode, before leaving, he gave Bharat and his other children a wonderful lesson. That lesson is also applicable to all of us. So, using those messages, Maharaja Bharat ruled very justly, very nicely. He became so popular eventually that the entire era, the age, was called Bharat Varsha. As we know, the India is the English name of India. It is the English name. But the real name is Bharat. And Bharat is named after Maharaja Bharat. Bharat Varsha is the age of Maharaja Bharat. And at that time, it's not just the India. This is a different time period, different yuga that this was happening in. So therefore, the entire earth was unified as one. And Maharaja Bharat was ruling the entire earth. He was the king of entire earth. And technically, the entire earth is India. not the India that we see today on the map. It is not just limited to that. The Bharat is not limited to just that Bharat that we see. Bharat is Skhandha. The entire earth is Bharat. And the ruler of that at that time is Maharaja Bharat. Eventually, Maharaja Bharat marries the daughter of King Vishwarup, Panchajani, and has many other children. Millions of years go by as the ruler. He is ruling very nicely. Everybody's really happy in his kingdom. He treats everybody equally. There is no pain, there is no suffering, there is no quarrel. And any small management-related, administrative-related quarrels that do come in, he provides guidance, and thus the people of the earth are happy and joyful. When he realizes that his time is done, and at some point in time, you have to, no matter how successful you are, you must realize that it is time to now let go. He decides to retire as the king and gives his entire kingdom to all of his children and divides the earth into equal portions so that everybody can rule justly. Because at this time, the earth has grown, the population has grown, and his many children provide the way to properly administer and manage. So Maharaja Bharat, after ruling after millions of years, finally retires and departs, just like his father Rishabdev, departs for the forest for meditation, for the path of meditation. Eventually realizing that this materialistic possessions, this body, this wealth, children, wife, kids, all that is meaningless, because after all, the path of Nirvana is the ultimate path which you must attain. And for that, one has to walk alone through meditation, through detachment, through simple living, and attain that. So he departs for the forest. A poetry by Narsimha Mehta comes into the mind that Kulane tyajiye, kutumbane tyajiye, tyajiye mane bapare, bhagini sut darane tyajiye, jem tyaje kanchuki sapare. The ancient poet here, the Narsimha Mehta, from the 14th, 15th century, says that, when it's time to do meditation, when it is time to attain that moksha, your kul, the family that you are born in, kutum, your actual nuclear family, or what have you, your parents, your wife, your girlfriends, or your significant others, your children, leave all of that at once, because none of that matters. And how? Just like how snake sheds its skin and gets another skin. That is the cycle of life. One time ends, one skin ends, now you actually take another. Just like how the snake sheds its skin, jem tyaje kanchuki sapare. Just like that, remove that old way of living that you might have lived for many, many years, might have fulfilled your duty properly. Now, there comes a time when you leave all that for the path of Nirvana, Moksha, meditation. So, Maharaja Bharat leaves. As Maharaja Bharat now starts living in the forest, in the Haridwar Kshetra, near Gandaki river, his daily chore is very simple. Gets up in the morning, takes bath in the river, gathers all the natural things for his puja, does the meditation all day, eats simple fruits and vegetables that are available in the forest, and that is how he's living. Very simple life. And this is the Pulhashram, Harihara Kshetra, again near Gandaki river, North India. The forest provides all. It's a natural way of living in harmony with nature. Once Chakravarti Samrat, the earth ruler, the ruler of the entire earth, is now living a simple life as a hermit, as a sage. And realizing that now he must focus on his next elevation, which is nirvana. His life here has been fulfilled. His work has been fulfilled. So he's living daily, nicely, simple life. Now, he runs into an incident. One day, as he's living in the forest, doing his natural daily chores, taking bath in the river in the morning, taking care of his daily routine, he sees a pregnant deer drinking from the river. And the pregnant deer hears a roar of a lion and gets really scared. Therefore, she jumps. She's fully pregnant, full term, almost ready to give birth. And in doing that jump, the baby deer falls out of her womb into the river. The deer is so scared, the mother deer is so scared, she runs away, completely separate from her group, goes into some cave, dies. And this baby deer is floating in the river, and Maharaja Bharat rescues the deer. Realizes that this is now his work, now he must take care of this deer. His mother has passed away, gone away, done. And this infant deer is so cute, starts caring for the deer. This is the same Maharaja Bharat who had decided to leave his kingdom, depart from all the worldly affairs to focus on meditation, the next elevation, gets distracted by cute little deer, a baby deer. His entire day goes into caring for the deer. While doing meditation, half of his mind is into the deer. Oh, where did it go? Maybe some fox or some lion might come and eat the deer. If the deer is not seen for a few minutes, he gets really restless. Oh, maybe what happened? Something happened. The deer is lost. I must find the deer. I must take care of it. Again, his entire life now is devoted to caring for this baby deer that he rescued. It becomes such that his body eventually perishes. So does the deer's body eventually perish in this care for the deer, and Maharaja Bharat is no longer the Maharaja Bharat. His body is gone. And he takes another birth, this time as the deer. But his attachment to the meditation, the act of meditation, was almost complete. He remembered his past birth, even as a deer. He remembered that he was the king of the earth. He had left his kingdom, he had retired from it to attain nirvana, and got distracted by a baby deer in its care, and therefore now has taken the birth as the deer. He quickly realizes that and eventually works on it, because he had the memory of his past birth. He realizes that he had done a mistake. He has to detach himself. Otherwise, this cycle of birth and rebirth will continue. And the idea is to be one with the cosmos. Take that elevated step towards nirvana and moksha. So Maharaja Bharat, this time as a deer, in a form of a deer, in this birth that he is born in, starts acting on it, eats simple stuff just to take care of this body that he had now as a deer, and eventually takes a Jal Samadhi, in which his half body is in the water and half above the water, meditating on the ultimate truth. And in that meditation, in that act, that body of deer also perishes. Meaning, he gives up that body as well. Realizing that this body is not the ultimate. Again, the body and you are two different things. Treating the body, because you need the body does need to eat, it does need to have nutrients, it need to have oxygen, etc. That is one karma. But when you slowly start detaching from that karma, the body is no longer important and you elevate yourself above and beyond the body, and body is meaningless. So the body of the deer that he was born in perishes. He's no longer the deer. Now comes the next birth. In this birth, Maharaja Bharat is born as a son of a Brahmin. But again, his previous birth as the deer, and then before that as the Maharaja Bharat, the son of Rishabdev, all that memory stays with him because he had worked on, he had already walked the path of meditation, nirvana. So he had remembered all of that. It's just a little bit left now to get to that next stage. So he remembered it all, and he realized that how he was the king of the earth, eventually retired to the forest, fell into love with a baby deer that he rescued. In the next birth, he became a deer because of that attachment, and now he has been given this another chance to elevate himself. Now, being born again as a human, the one with intellect, chitta, and that also not an ordinary human, a son of a Brahmin who his father was a renowned Brahmin who did all the duties of Brahmin. So he realized that this is his another chance to finally attain the nirvana, the moksha. So he decided right away, right with the birth, because he remembered all of it, even as infant, he remembered it all. He realized that he is not going to focus anymore on this body, this worldly affair, kutum, kul, etc. Kins, parents, brothers, etc. Again, that poetry that I recited earlier, kul ne tejiye, kutumba ne tejiye ma ne bapare, says Narasimha Mehta. Bhagini sutadara ne tejiye, jem tejiye kanchuki sapre. When you have finally realized that you want to elevate yourself, all this worldly relations, affairs, etc. are meaningless. You must let go. And this time he's from the birth, right from the infancy, realizes that that is what he will focus on. He's no longer going to be attached to anything worldly, materialistic, carnal. His father, realizing his aptitude from the beginning, teaches him the Vedas and all the necessary chores. He's equipped now. He's already equipped because of his past births, but his father also equips him with the proper tools for the meditation, for this path of worship. Eventually the meditation and nirvana. Gives him the Yagnopavit, Janoi, etc. and does his fatherly duties for Bharat. His name is also Bharat in this last birth this is in. But Bharat is a very unique child, as I mentioned earlier. He has decided that he is not going to be attached to anything worldly, anything carnal, anything materialistic at all whatsoever. Therefore, he takes shower when he wants to take shower, doesn't really care about the body. His hairs are messed up, his clothes are all over the place. Doesn't matter, he's not worried about all that. He eats when he is hungry. He goes about doing his chores as he pleases, not really interested in the worldly day-to-day life. He would sleep somewhere on the road, somewhere when he feels like sleeping. Otherwise, just focusing on the ultimate, the meditation, the path of meditation. Again, here's where the important lesson is that, in order to attain nirvana, it is not necessary that you live according to the normal way of living through sages by like how the sages live. You go into the forest and completely detach yourself there, and now you are free from any kind of distractions. No, right? Look what happened to same Maharaja Bharat. Even in the forest, he got attached to a deer and had to be reborn as a deer. So he realizes that is not necessary. I mean, it is definitely a good idea because, the quiet, the away, when you are in that retired lifespan, less distraction, the better. But it is not necessarily that something else wouldn't distract you. If you want to attain the path of nirvana, it is you and only you who can do it. And you have to decide by yourself, on your own. In this life and while living with the samsara, by doing your daily stuff, you can also be detached. So any karma that he was doing, he was not really attached to it. He was doing it meaningfully. If he was given a chore to do something here and there, by his father or by other people in the town, he would do it properly, justly. But again, he was a free bird in the sense that he was completely free from anything worldly. He didn't want to be attached to anything. And constantly in that act was meditating. Meditation is not something that you sit, close your eyes at some point in time in your house. No, you can do it while walking, sleeping, taking shower, etc. You can do that also. It is a mindset that you cultivate. And that is what Bharat in this birth as a Brahmin boy teaches. So as I said, he would sit somewhere, people would see him as somebody like a madman, his body would smell because he would take shower only whenever needed. He would eat whatever people will give it to him. He will do the job that people tell him to do the job, and that's how. And then somebody will give him some food or etc. And that's how he would get by, so that this body has the nutrients that it needs, and so forth. And therefore, people started calling him Jada Bharat. That's the nickname that he was given. Jad. Jad is like lifeless. Stone is Jad. Doesn't have life. You can see a stone sitting on a road somewhere. Completely lifeless. Jada Bharat had decided that his body is like that also. Meaning, it's meaningless to him. He had a different purpose, the purpose that he had been trying to fulfill since the last 2 births to attain the nirvana. So it was meaningless to him, therefore it was all technically jad. So he would sit, stand, sleep, what have you, like that. And one day, some goons see he was very healthy, tall, well-built guy, handsome guy still. So what if his body smelled? Again, he was still a well-built. He provided all the nutrients that were needed for his body, cleaned his body as necessary so that, he would still survive. So it was, he was there, and some goons saw him, abducted him for human sacrifice to please goddess Mahakali. Now, this is an interesting point. In some belief systems in ancient India, they believed that by sacrificing human life or animal life, they would please the gods. Totally meaningless idea. But again, this is a ill-fated belief system that some really believed in. Goddess Kali never liked that idea. But there was a belief system. So again, the goons took him with the hope that they would sacrifice him. This is a handsome, well-built man. So the sacrifice would definitely please the goddess Mahakali. And, the Kali would then fulfill their desires. As the goons were trying to kill Bharat, behead him, Kali realizes that this is a bad act. I am not pleased by the humanly or animal sacrifice or any kind of sacrifices whatsoever. If you want to attain me through love, attachment, and detachment from your karma. right? This is the wrong path that they are following. So just to teach that lesson, Kali appears in front of the goons, punishes them and tells them, I'm not interested in any sacrifice, and thus rescues Bharat or Jada Bharat. And realizing that the Jada Bharat is already on his path for moksha nirvana. And thus, Jada Bharat was rescued by Mahakali. And his life thus goes on. Daily living just goes on. He eats, like I said, when he pleases. He takes shower when he pleases. He is not attached to anything worldly. He is simply interested in the ultimate truth, the nirvana, the moksha. And that is the only thing that he is interested in. He is determined, Jada Bharat, that he wants to definitely attain moksha, nirvana in this birth. And thus concentrates on this philosophy and lives the life as Jada Bharat. That is all I have today. Thank you.